Hi everyone, it's great to be here. My name is Humaira Abbas and I'm a Senior Programme Manager based in one of the programmes teams at the NIHR. I'm joined by my colleague Henry Mbawa. I'll let Henry introduce himself.
I'm Henry Mbawa. I'm also a Senior Program Manager. I manage one of the doctoral schemes. I'm also the lead SPM for promoting ethnic minority participation in research at the NIHR. Thank you.
Thanks, Henry. So we're here to tell you about what we do at the NIHR and the programmes and awards that are offered through the NIHR Academy. Have the next, please. So I'm just going to start by giving you some quick background. So the NIHR's mission is to improve the health and wealth of the nation through research. Next slide, please. So as Senior Programme Managers at the NIHR Academy, Henry and I work within the teams that manage our research training awards and programmes. And in a nutshell, through the NIHR Academy offer, we aim to build research capacity by attracting, training and supporting the next generation of health and care researchers to address and find the solution of emerging health and care problems. Next slide, please. So as this is the introductory event for the NIHR-supported Race Equity and Diversity in Research Careers Incubator, I wanted to give you some information on the NIHR initiative as a whole and the purpose of NIHR incubators. So the NIHR Incubator initiative emerged following the strategic review of training, and we aim to build research capacity in areas and disciplines in which there is a need on a national level. So NIHR incubators play an important role in attracting, training and supporting researchers to tackle the complex health and care challenges of the future within their specific areas or disciplines. They focus on building academic research capacity in attracting and retaining people in the area of interest with consideration to a broad spectrum of research careers. So incubators are virtually bespoke to their community and enable the gathering of key stakeholders together to identify the barriers that exist and to suggest and implement, where possible, solutions to building research capacity and developing research careers in a sustainable and meaningful way. So the key objectives that underpin the incubator initiative are to identify the gap and the need to build research capacity at that national level and to develop and deliver solutions, support underrepresented groups in which research capacity is particularly low, and attract individuals to health and care research within the incubator-specific theme, and provide additional training and support to increase applications and success rates to NIHR funding. Next slide, please. So we have incubators in the areas outlined on this slide. These are current incubators that started in January 2022. Yemisi has already touched upon some of these. And in the box on the right-hand side, you'll see some of the incubators that we have previously supported. Next slide, please. So Henry and I are now going to give you a quick overview of the NIHR offer in terms of the schemes we have to support career development and research training. Next slide, please. So as you can see here, we have a range of schemes looking to provide career development opportunities for different career stages and professional backgrounds. We will go into some of these in some more detail shortly, in particular those that are starred in orange. Next slide, please. And we also have some additional opportunities that form part of the Academy offer, and some of these may not be relevant for you, but we wanted to give you an overview of the breadth of schemes that we have available. Next slide, please. So it's really important to think about where you are in your career and where you'd like to be. As I've shown you in the previous slide, we have a broad range of schemes. There will be a scheme that will allow you to pursue academic career development to suit your career aspirations. So we have schemes for all, for doctors and dentists and for healthcare professionals, and those specific to each career stage too. If you have no idea where to start, there are also opportunities that give you the time to think about your next step and the route that you might want to take. But we'll go into some of these in a bit more detail shortly. If you have any questions or would like some advice at all, please get in touch. We're more than happy to go through things in a bit more detail with you. Next slide, please. So outlined on this slide is the NIHR Academy remit, which is early translational, so experimental medicine, clinical and applied health research and social care research. Applications must have a clear potential for directly benefiting patients, service users, carers, and the public, as well as recognising the training element of the research, and must be high quality educational and methodological research. Next slide, please. So the NIHR does not support basic research, and the potential impact on patients, service users, carers, and the public must be made very, very clear. So what we fund varies by award. This is usually within the award-specific guidance notes. Generally, we cover costs for salary, and we have a very flexible offer and cover 50 to 100% whole-time equivalent of academic and practice or clinical time. We cover research costs, conference attendance and research visits, academic training, so PhD fees, for example, professional training and development, patient and public involvement and dissemination. Next slide, please. So this slide outlines the standard assessment criteria for fellowship awards. This can differ between schemes, and we advise that you read the scheme-specific guidance notes when completing an applications. Applications are assessed against this criteria by the selection committees, and as you can see, the focus is on the person, so the trajectory relevant to the career stage and background. The overall project, which must be high quality research program that acts as a suitable training vehicle. The place and training, so support from the mentorship team and host organization, as well as the training being bespoke and well thought out and suitable for the needs of the development program. Patient and public involvement plan, which is well thought out, inclusive and integrated into the project. This is usually reviewed by public contributors. Next slide, please. So all awards are set up differently. Here's a general application assessment process. There are different types of assessment. For some schemes, there will be multiple assessments and a longer process, and for others, the process is much shorter. This diagram highlights the main stages. However, the process your application will go through will be outlined in the scheme-specific guidance notes, and the team are more than happy to go through this with you and answer any questions that you might have, so please don't hesitate. Get in touch. So I'm just going to hand back to Henry now, who'll go through some of our fellowship programs and awards with you. Next slide.
Thank you very much, Humaira, and welcome everybody. I'll go through some of the schemes that we have, but also we'll just reiterate that all of you present here will have to be ambassadors for some of this information that we'll be providing. A lot of people from ethnic minority backgrounds do not often hear about some of these opportunities. But if you need more information, we will give you some contacts at the end and to signpost people who will need to know more about these opportunities. So most of our schemes at the NIHR are building blocks. You don't have to follow them through a pathway, but you can come through them at various stages, like Humaira said. One of them is at the predoctoral level, which is basically to give you some foundation in research, to strengthen your research capacity so that you can be able to move forward and establish yourself as an independent researcher at the doctoral level. One of them is the predoctoral fellowship, which is designed for people who are looking to start or advance careers in health and social care. This is open to everyone, health and care professionals, but anyone trying to do research in some of these areas which are outlined above. We try to fund a broad master's or full master's level program that will strengthen your research capacity to do doctoral level research. Basically, the outcome of your predoc, like the other schemes that I will talk about at the master's level, is to be able to help you put together a doctoral application. And the predoc fellowship is launched in January. Next slide, please. So similarly, the predoc doctoral level schemes also include the PCAF, which is for those who would like to combine both research and clinical practice within an NHS setting or health provider setting. There is also the LAF, PLAF, doctoral level local authority fellowships, which are open to people within local authority settings. So if you're within local authority settings, this will be the scheme that will be for you. And normally we get people like social workers from local authority settings. And it's also similar. It helps you to undertake a master's, full master's, which is called a standard, and a bridge, which is for those who have some level of training but would like to strengthen their research capacity to be able to submit a doctoral level application. And it offers you at the standard level your master's level training and conference fees and also some fees to be able to undertake some supervision, work with supervisors and develop PPI, public involvement in your research. Next slide, please. So at the doctoral level, there are 3 different schemes that we'll have. All of them are seeking to strengthen your research capacity and establish individuals in their research career through undertaking a PhD by research. So our PhDs are not professional PhDs, are research PhDs. You will need to register for a research PhD. So there is the doctoral fellowship, which is open to everyone as well, like the pre-doc. It's open to everyone, but the doctoral clinical and academic and practitioner academic fellowship is open to people who would like to combine both research and clinical practice, because there is a requirement of 20% practice time that you will need to also fulfill, just like the DLAF, which is also there is a requirement for 20% clinical practice time within a local authority setting. So it offers you the opportunity to complete a PhD, funding for 3 years to cover tuition, training, salary, research costs, conference costs, and much more, which will be detailed in the guidance notes. Next slide, please. So there are other schemes as well at the postdoc level, which allows you to develop skills and show up your capacity to be able to establish yourself as an independent researcher at the postdoc level. So one of them that you'll be allowed to apply for if you have a PhD is the Development and Skills Enhancement Scheme, which is open to people who are seeking to establish themselves at postdoc level. This allows funding for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and you can do this at 50% to 100%, depending on what option suits you. So it's important that you commit to a health and care research, and you clearly articulate a future research career plan. It's all geared towards strengthening your capacity to be able to handle major research programs, which you can lead on your own as an independent researcher. And the applications are open all year round, 3 review periods in June, August, and February. Next slide, please. So the postdoctoral fellowships, there are also postdoctoral fellowship, which are advanced fellowships, the ALAF for local authority settings, individuals coming from local authority settings who would like to do a postdoc, but also the ACAF, which are for individuals who are within health and care professions that will need to combine their research with clinical practice. And this is for early postdoc career individuals with PhD or individuals who are transitioning from a career break, for instance, but you must have a PhD. And funding is open to you for between 2 to 5 years, and it can be taken up within as part-time or full-time between 50% to 100% WT. And as with all the funding, we also cover salary, research costs, and conference training and development. So eligibility also includes having a host, which is HAI or NHS body or publicly funded provider of healthcare services, and you have to hold a relevant PhD and not already a chair at that level. And this launches twice annually in April and October. As the doctoral schemes also, they're open twice a year. Next slide, please. So this is also one of our most recent schemes, which is also aimed at particularly people from underrepresented backgrounds like minoritized communities. And this is our pre-application support fund. So I meet a lot of people who talk about having no idea as to where to start. This is where you can start. You can put in an application to get you to put in a proper application. This provides the funding for you to be able to apply to any of our schemes. So it gives you some contribution to your salary and training and development that will enable you to establish the network, the supervisors that will support you to put the necessary application either at the pre-doc level or at doctoral level or at the advanced level. So this is one of the schemes that we need people to know about more, and it's open 3 times a year, which is January, May, and September. And it's one of the schemes that will help people to just start thinking about where do I start? Where can I fit in terms of NIHR opportunities? Next slide, please. So we have other short-term placements. One of them is the local authority short-term placement award for research collaboration. This allows funding up to 15,000 for you to be to go into some placement within local authority settings where you have to be NIHR Academy members, and this provides support for you to develop your skills, expose you to research environments, build networks, and strengthen collaboration that will help you to put your foot into research. And this is launched annually in September. Thank you. Next slide, please. I'll give back to Humaira.
So thank you all. As you will have heard, we've got a range of options which fit lots of different career pathways and will certainly fit your career ambitions. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to us via the email address on this slide. Ask any question that you might have. No question is big or small, and we're more than happy to provide advice and talk through any specific scheme with you or just provide advice in general. So please do get in touch. Thank you.